Welcome back to the Slide Job Podcast. I'm your host, Colton Smith, or Left Turn Central. I am here joined by producer Josh Northcutt and co host Brandon Bull Davis. Guys, how are we doing after what was a kind of snooze fest? Josh even fell asleep of a race at Darlington, but still an exciting finish. Josh, I'll let you start.
I think you summed it up perfectly. It was a snoo fest for me. When I went to sleep, I saw Will and Byron in the lead, and then when I woke up, he was no longer in the lead. So I'd love to figure out how that exactly happened. um, but I literally thought he was going to read what is it, 300 laps, 289 laps, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was just going to lead every single one. I even said it in the group chat. He had the most dominant car that day, and it's kind of a shame that he didn't win.
Bull?
That pretty much sums it up. You can sum up the race with a couple numbers. There was 297 laps.
Mm-hmm.
The first lead change was with 49 laps remaining,
Mm-hmm.
and there was 4 lead changes in the whole race.
Yep.
That pretty much sums up the entire race.
Yeah,
We'll,
I'm
we'll,
not. I wasn't going to go into a big detail of it. I was just going to basically say to sum up the first stage, second stage, and first half of stage 3. William Byron. That's it. That's the race. That's what it was. And to elaborate, he was on the pole. He had probably the fastest car, and he was really fast on the restarts, the short run, even the long run. Really, the issue would come whenever he got into traffic, which is what to be expected when you're on the pole. So then when Byron had the lead, we get to about 49 laps to go, and we have this kind of varying strategy play out where you have people pitting early, you have people pitting in this little middle ground, and you have people that waited extra long for that green flag run. So essentially, Tyler Reddick was in the group that pitted early, I think about 3 to 4 laps before Byron did. Byron finally pits, and Byron stayed out a little extra because on the last stage we had this same thing play out where Byron stayed out after most of the field and ended up flipping the field because there was a caution that came out, and that's how Chase Elliott found his way back in the top 10. Even Bowman was in there. I believe Barry had gotten up there, and all of that. So they were kind of had that in the back of their mind. What if a caution comes out? We don't want to get the field flipped. It did not come out at that point. And so then Tyler Reddick on 3 to 4 extra laps on the fresher tires took a 5-second lead on Byron, who had a 3-second lead on second place, who wasn't even Tyler Reddick. And so do you see this big advantage happening at this point? Christopher Bell, I think, was the other guy up there with William Byron, and they were about 6 seconds back. They didn't have the cars to catch up, but Ryan Blaney sure as hell did, as he stayed out. Denny Hamlin also stayed out about 3 to 4 extra laps than they did, and you could just see the absolute wheeling. I mean, the drive of maybe Ryan Blaney's life outside of the championship he won. And he is just hanging on that inside, wearing those tires like crazy. But the thing is, Reddick's already been out 7 laps longer, so he's gaining about – it got to a point where he was gaining 0.8 of a second a lap at the end there. And so Blaney does all this work over the course of 20 laps, 4 laps to go, finally swoops below Tyler Reddick. Some great blocking from Reddick to try and reserve it, but just didn't have it. And not even the next corner, Tyler Reddick's teammate, Bubba Wallace, spins Larson. Now, that was not Bubba Wallace whatsoever. Larson absolutely parked it in that corner. I don't know what is wrong with Larson in that corner. I will never trust him at Darlington again because he doesn't know how to do that corner, apparently. And, I would almost speculate, a lot of people obviously pointing at Bubba Wallace, saying he did it. I would almost speculate Kyle Larson, driving for the much shadier team in Hendrick Motorsports, was the one trying to get William Byron a fresh restart. And I would probably say that is more so the case there. Why else do you be negative 160 laps and still be on the track? And because they definitely weren't doing any testing or anything like that. So that got us to a restart, which made us all pit. Ryan Blaney's pit crew had lost him 17 spots on pit road over the course of that day, and they did just the same there. losing 3 spots, but that wasn't the difference maker, because if that was the case, Reddick would have won it. No, Denny Hamlin, his pit crew gets the fastest pit stop of the day. I swear to God he sped off a pit road, but I guess there wasn't a timing loop where he was at. And so it really, this race was won based on where Denny Hamlin picked his pit stop after qualifying. If he's halfway down the field, he doesn't get to speed off of pit road. He has to go, pit road speed. And outstanding stop from the 11 crew, a 35-point swing for Ben in the Fast Five standings. And so that's how that race went. And we have our second multi-time winner of the season. Both of them are Toyotas. Bull, I'll let you start because I know you were watching most of that race.
Yeah, so I'm got a few things here. Hamlin, Bell, Blaney, all need to say a big thank you to NASCAR and Brad Keselowski. That spin, them not pitting before that, really helped them.
Yes.
Before that, Bell was in the back, slow as can be. They even showed him getting passed by SVG on TV.
Never
And
thought you'd see that, huh?
I couldn't believe it. The next thing I know, he's up there in P2. So it just shows what staying out and getting those fresh tires can do. So I know this might be a hot take, but I don't even know if Byron had the best car. I know he led all those laps, but I think a product of that was this crap car that we've got now and the tire situation. Yes, we did have fall off, but there still was not a lot of passing. There was a few guys that could pass. One guy in particular, you mentioned Blaney, passed 120 cars yesterday.
Because he kept on losing 5 spots to pit stop.
He passed 120 cars. Every time he moved forward, his pit crew'd moving back.
Mm-hmm.
He was one guy that could pass. So, but you also mentioned Hamlin's pit crew. I don't know. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this guy's last name. There's a guy. His first name's Bozy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big sports car guy for IMSA. That last pit stop for Hamlin was 8.35 seconds. Was the time that the pit crew was on for a 4-tire change. So, and he's a big sports like pit crew science guy. He like breaks down everything, and he is crediting all of this Hamlin's pit crew success to a twist that the Jack Man does when he runs around the car. He credits all the success that the all the credit to the Jack Man just by doing a simple twist. So, how long before all the teams start doing pirouettes and twists down pit road carrying the Jack?
Next
I
week.
mean, we're gonna have a ballet going down pit road now. But
am I allowed to talk yet?
Yeah, let's hear it, Josh.
All right, good. I'm cutting Bull off. Anyway, so first off, it sounds like you want a defensive end doing the little twist there, a little bend around the corner, something like that. Which I know.
With the Rock.
Yeah, I mean, was it Clemson had like NASCAR teams at their practice looking at players?
Yes.
For pit crew and stuff like that. The days of we've talked about it before, Colton. The days of Chocolate Myers out there running on the pit crew are long gone. There is no chocolate to be found. But as for the race, I am 100. I am willing to put my life on the line. Basically, I am 100% positive that Kyle Larson did not lose talent, and Kyle Larson purposely caused that accident.
Yeah.
He pulled up in front of Bubba Wallace and dropped that anchor.
Exactly.
flat out. There has to be some kind of study. Like they've done it before, and they've looked back and looked at many things before. And I get it's not the last race, so it's not as bad as what went down last year to try to get. Was it Bubba in, or who was it they tried to get in?
They were trying to get Bell into the championship.
Is that what it was when everybody
Yes.
was playing the brake check game? And
Yeah, and Bell and Byron were the two. Like Chevy had guys trying to get them in, and
that's what it
vice
was.
versa.
Okay, I just remember. I remember Chastain checking up, but
yeah. Well, Bubba Wallace also did it too.
Yeah,
so it's both ways.
Yeah. It's a team sport. Whatever.
Yeah.
All that to be saying though, Denny Hamlin, man, I don't know how the dude gets so lucky and finds his way into victory lane, but congrats to him, back to back wins, and just you called it last week that you think he's going to win a championship, and I mean if he can luck into wins like this the rest of the year, there's a very good chance.
I mean, even he knew it was luck. After the victory, he wanted to thank Kyle Larson and his pit crew for the victory.
Oh man, I'd already turned off my TV. Was continuously saying a word that starts with F as I walk upstairs to make the point standings because I wanted to see the damage. But Denny Hamlin, credit to him, 2 wins in a row. And we're going to Bristol, a track we know he will be a factor at. I'm curious what the tire fall off looks like for that race because that played a big factor in his performance last year. And we know it'll play a big performance in it this year. But yeah, Darlington is always it's a fun track, but it's not the best. It hasn't adapted well to the next gen era. Next gen has been known for making the 1.5 miles very entertaining, despite the fact it's supposed to be a short track-esque car. It ended up being better for the 1.5 miles than short tracks. We all know that. But looking at this top 10 here, Denny Hamlin obviously getting the win. Byron still finished second. To your point, no, he probably didn't have the best car. He definitely had a top 3, top 5 car. I wouldn't say that. Blaney probably had the best car, but he finishes 5th thanks to his pit crew. Bell finished 3rd. Reddick finished 4th. Chris Buescher in 6th. He was up there. Got flipped on that caution thanks to Brad K. But he worked his way back up there. Ross Chastain snuck out a 7th place finish out of absolutely nowhere. Chase Elliott got 8th place. Ty Gibbs, let's give props where props are due. Ty Gibbs, 9th place, great finish. We expect that from Joe Gibbs Racing. Anyways, Kyle Busch, 10th place, rounding out the top 10. A couple notable finishes. Austin Cindric, great day in 11th. Zane Smith, once again, just rallying off these top 20s in 12th. Joey Logano once again finishes outside the top 10 in 13th. Todd Gilliland, a good day in 14th. Daniel Suarez, I think a solid day in 15th with where Trackhouse has been this year. Ty Dillon was in the top 10. He did get the field flip in his favor, but he was hanging around that top 10 for quite a while. And looking at the point standings, I think he finds himself, where are you at here? A lot higher than you would expect. I guess he's still in 25th. I thought he was up in 22nd, so my fault on that. But one I do want to mention is Bubba Wallace in 21st. He probably had the second fastest car of the day. If we got Blaney in first, I would say Bubba Wallace probably had the second fastest car. It just couldn't move around traffic as well as Blaney's. But if he was up there in that top 5, he would have given a run for the money on that win as well. Kyle Larson, though. Was it lap 3? I thought it was lap 5 because he was number 5, but I guess it was lap 3. Whenever it was, way too early. Kyle Larson just not intentionally loses talent coming out of turn 2. That likely led to why he chose that corner to lose talent again later in the race. He finishes 37th, 160 some laps down, and just such a disappointing. Beautiful scheme. Was ready to see that thing, and he probably would have been able to wheel his way up, but who knows? We don't know. Josh Berry also finished 36th despite having a fast car, just also lost talent on that bump. He didn't lose talent. He clearly got bumped, and there was some contact with Tyler Reddick there. Alex Bowman also finishes 35th, and Brad Keselowski, Josh's first overall pick in the Fast 5 draft, finishes 33rd. To be fair, he was having a good top 15 day.
He was in the top. He was in the top 10 before he got into an accident. When
was he?
He was in 7th or 8th. He finished in the top 10 in the first stage, so he was running. He was running well. He just got into an accident.
Was that before or after pit stops, Josh?
Anyway, the one person I wanted to bring up after Colton just ran down the entire lineup again, Ryan Priest. I feel really bad for him.
I was going to mention him.
Okay, yeah, I
Main
was
Crush
having
Monday.
Yep, absolutely, got to bring him up. So he was having a very, very, very good race, and then just the cautions, and I want to say it was the debris.
It was the caution that flipped him
Correct.
around. He was running top 10, top 5 most of the day, and then he pit early, and he just didn't have the car to move through the field.
Correct. So it was disappointing to see
Mm-hmm.
Priest fall off like that. But heading to Bristol, I'm telling you, I'm gonna put money on it. He finds his way to victory lane this weekend. Already calling my shot on a Monday.
So we picking him first overall?
Maybe
Because you get first overall pick.
I get the third pick.
Oh, is that what you want?
Oh yeah, I like the back-to-back. So
okay, all right. Glad we both are in agreement there. But yeah, Ryan Priest, Chase Briscoe, 2 guys that just had good days going, and it didn't end up that way. But that is your results from good old Darlington. Actually, one last result we should mention: Shane Van Gisbergen, 20th place. Credit where credit is due, man. What an outstanding finish from him. I mean, that is like the equivalent of getting a Cody Ware 20th place. Like, this is incredible. I think this is really great for his point standings. Let's see, where did that bring him?
33rd.
He's now, he's 33rd now. He's ahead of Riley Herbst. He's on the way up, folks. He's on the way up. I was going to go through the standings, but just Byron, Hamlin, Bell, Elliott, Reddick, that's your top 5. Blaney moved up some spots, and everything else stayed the same other than Bowman dropping 5. It's a little movement, but we'll talk about that later on in the week. But for now, we're going to have Bull give some of his favorite throwbacks from the weekend, since we did not get to get his last Monday. Bull, what were some of your favorite throwbacks?
So I know we've kind of talked about it off air. The Xfinity Series did 10 times better than the Cup Series. My favorite of the weekend actually came from the Xfinity Series. Was the Anthony Alfredo throwback, the 2005 Sterling Marlin Jamie Mack
Silver bullet, baby.
silver bullet car. That was awesome. And then also went out the Denny Hamlin, Carl Edwards throwback. The only thing that would have made that better is if he would have tried to do the backflip in victory lane. If he would have attempted it, at least that would have went down in the Hall of Fame.
At least like just stand on the ground and do a backflip. You know what I mean?
Denny's fit. He's fit.
He at least had to put on a show or something. Just at least act like it, something. Another one, Josh Berry. That one thrown back to the Indy 500.
I only have one issue with that. They were drooling over that car the entire race. They didn't talk about any other
reason.
I know, but any other car but that car. Every single announcer, every single person they brought up was drooling over that thing.
You were sleeping the whole race. How do you even know?
No, it wasn't the whole race. Which, by the way, don't ever put Richard Petty on my television screen again. Stop wheeling him out there. I said what I said.
I could barely hear him. I will say that.
Dude, he's so old. When he called someone a Yankee, I was like, okay, get the man off my screen.
It's a throwback race. What do you want him to call him?
Get off my screen.
All right, fair enough. Any others that you wanted to shout out?
Yeah, I got 2 more.
All right.
William Sawalich, throwing back to Kyle Busch. That brought back memories when Kyle Busch was actually Kyle Busch and dominating. And then Brandon Jones doing the Matt Kenseth throwback. That one was pretty simple, but I still liked that one. Clean, and it looked good on the car. Fit his sponsor well.
Yeah,
was Dollar General the sponsor, or who was sponsoring him?
It was Dollar General.
Okay.
Yeah, the only issue with that though is, unlike Matt Kenseth, he found himself in victory lane.
Wow.
What? Matt Kenseth won a championship without winning one race. That is what I will forever know him as.
but do you know are we not familiar with Matt? I'm looking it up right here.
I know Matt Kenseth. Yes, he raced for Roush Racing. I know Matt
Mhm.
Kenseth very well.
Okay.
The only
Well,
thing that would have made the Jones car better is if he would have had the orange, rear end.
See, when I see the 20, I just want to see a Home Depot again. That's my go-to.
For the record, Josh,
Oh boy, here we go.
Matt Kenseth finished with 39 wins in his 22-year career.
And he's also the reason why we have this playoff system. Is he not? Yes.
Well, maybe one day we'll have somebody win. Cause the thing is, it's easier to win with no wins now than ever. Theoretically, Ryan Newman almost did it. He almost did it. I was looking at a highlight of Kevin Harvick winning the championship a little bit ago, and I realized Ryan Newman was literally like 5 car lengths behind with a chance to win the championship. But anyways, you had another one, Bull?
No, that's it.
Okay. Yeah. You said Solich and Brandon Jones. I thought there was a lot of really great ones. Some of them that I didn't notice when we were doing the preview. Josh Berry was honestly one that went under my radar until I saw it in the race. And they mentioned some other ones, Josh. I wish Menards would have let Blaney use the olive or avocado green that his dad's scheme had, but I still thought that highlighted green worked. I don't know. Just me, maybe. But there's that. That is Bull's favorite paint schemes of the weekend, and that's replacing the fly the flag for this week. So now it is time for our overreactions from Darlington. We're all bringing at least one overreaction from Darlington. Mine is going to be that we only need to go to this track once a year. Darlington is a great track. It's a great atmosphere. It's a historic track that needs to be here every Labor Day weekend for the Southern 500. It does not need to be here for the Goodyear 400 in the spring. It's not even the racing per se. I looked at the stands and they were about half full or half empty, whichever way you want to look at it. They're about half capacity, maybe a bit above. That should be a sold out crowd, and I'm sure it will be for the Southern 500, but just keep it Southern 500. Put something else here. Bull, do you want to give your overreaction?
Yeah. Mine's NASCAR should give some kind of reward for the best throwback. Make it mandatory for all teams to participate and give some kind of, whether they're giving out bonus points now for fastest lap of the race, give out something for the best throwback. I know we were kind of discussing some of the driver comments. I know Brad Keselowski was one of the drivers that mentioned throwback weekend isn't for the drivers, it's for the fans. It's for the fans. He said he went to the merchandise trailer and saw all the fans in throwback gear, and it brought back memories for him. So make it mandatory, and NASCAR give out some kind of reward for the best throwback.
I find it interesting Brad said that, considering not a single one of his team drivers had a throwback scheme, but maybe he had an awakening.
That's I bet they do next year.
All right, Josh, what's your overreaction?
First off, also with the whole paint scheme situation, I don't even need the numbers to match. If you have a favorite driver that you just want to give a tribute to, do that.
Absolutely.
I just want a cool paint scheme. That's all I want. It doesn't have to be your number matching with so on and so forth. So if somebody wants to go out there in a certain paint scheme, outside maybe the well-known ones of, don't give me a Blackgood wrench 8 or 29 or something like that. Don't give me. Well, actually, I guess the 29 would work.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my hot take, and it's not really much of a hot take, but I'm fully now on board. Brad Keselowski is washed, and he has lost all talent. He is the third best driver on the team, and he needs to hang it up. It's time to hang it up. Go be an owner, but your talent's gone. This is your track that you should have been able to do well in. Yes, he was doing well in, and an accident happens, but bad luck's following him everywhere. Go concentrate on your team and maybe find a young driver to take over the 6 if you don't want to move Priest to the 6 and find another 60.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. What young driver comes to mind?
I would have to look at who's got deals with Ford. I honestly don't know enough about Xfinity and all that. So if you would give me a little time to look that up, I can come up with it by the end of the show.
All right, yeah, that's okay. I get that. Bull, do you have one in mind though?
Not right offhand. I think he's in Toyota. I'm not the guy that I'm thinking of. I think is with Toyota though. If it is, Corey Heim. I think he's with Toyota though. But that's a name to be watching out for next year. Um, if he's not with Toyota, he's either with Toyota or Ford.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
He's with Toyota,
he is. That's what I thought he was, but I knew it was with one of those two. But
and
that
he's
is a
in.
name.
Mhm.
That is a name to be watching out for next year. That will be making highlights next year.
Yeah, the thing with Heim is he has already signed with 2311, like a development deal. I mean, he could get out of that theoretically. I would say if he didn't do that, he would be definitely a leading candidate because he will never drive for Joe Gibbs Racing Xfinity. Ty Gibbs will make sure of that. Him and Ty Gibbs do not get along.
No,
It's very ridiculous that Ty Gibbs is that childish.
they go
Probably because
back
his
to
time's more talented than him, to be honest.
feuding in ARCA series.
Correct. So I would have loved to see Heim. I could see if there's, I don't really know if there's anybody else in Toyota because Toyota has a tendency of losing drivers before because they just have so many talented drivers in their system. But Heim's really the only one coming up that I'm really looking at as, yeah, that's a Cup guy.
Ooh, I do know another one that's he's in the truck series.
Mhm.
Me and actually a couple buddies were talking about this. The Xfinity series, besides one or two, is very down on talent this year.
Mhm.
The truck series is where a lot of the young talent is now. Lane Riggs, he is with Ford. That is
Yes.
another good name to be watching out for. He is having a very good year this year. Very good young driver.
I agree. That's been a weird shift in the truck series where I do think Xfinity feels more like the pay drivers, where the truck drivers I see like, okay, I see Cup potential with these guys.
I've having a lot more fun watching the truck series this year than the Xfinity series.
All right.
Mhm.
By the way, I do have an answer. It's Harrison Burton.
Ooh, give him a second chance.
Not only a second chance, but his dad was a very historic racer for Roush Racing, or no, right? Jeff,
Yeah,
Jeff was
yeah,
Roush.
yeah. He was the 99. He
Correct,
built that 99 team.
correct. So that would be my go-to. Harrison Burton taking over.
I like that. He gets a lot of flack, and I've given him a lot of flack for his performance in the 21. I don't think he was ready for that. Sometimes it takes that slap in the face to kind of turn it around.
Mm.
So I like that. I would say probably more likely to get that ride is maybe a Zane Smith. I think Zane Smith has definitely turned some heads this year. If Kazasi were to move out, yeah, maybe put Priest in that 6. I don't know if you want that 6 team, how bad they're looking on all fronts, but Zane Smith, RFK is considered a step up from front row. So I could see Ford saying, hey, let's get this guy. This guy's finding it. He got that slap in the face I talked about with Burton, and maybe Burton goes to front row or something like that. So
Actually, that sounds like even a better idea because I've gained a lot of respect for Zane Smith at the start of this season. He's currently sitting 22nd in points, but his talent on the track has been very impressive because he's just finding just on the outside of the top 10 mark. He's usually ending up in that 11 to 15 range.
It reminds me of McDowell's season a year or two ago when Blake Harris was his crew chief. Blake Harris is now the crew chief of Alex Bowman, where he wouldn't knock anybody out of the park, but he found ways. He won a race. He found ways to finish in the top 15 and top 10 from time to time, and that's what Zane Smith's doing right now. So credit to him. There's guys like that I've given a lot of crap to that I always knew deep down, Zane Smith, you don't look that good in the truck series and just like it's gone. Like you'll find it somewhere. And I feel the same way about Ty Gibbs. I feel the same way kind of about Harrison Burton. Still on the fence with him a little bit. So, but we'll see. So Yeah, that's an interesting conversation to have, and I'm curious what rumors will circulate as Brad continues to drive poorly, or maybe he'll turn it around and we'll have to shelve this conversation till next year. But we all got our overreactions out, so now it is time to give our power rankings for this week. Bull, I know you said you were having a little bit of trouble. You want to start us off?
Yeah, I will. This week's kind of been struggling for me. I've been going back and forth um, a lot with this, and a guy that we've talked about a lot, who's had bad luck. Um, he's finished 36th. He's had one top 10 since Atlanta, and that was yesterday. Ryan Blaney. But if you go back and look at the races, even when he had bad luck, he had two blown engines and he was still running top 10, or he got caught up in a wreck. I he's still having one of the best cars, uh, and I think he's finally got that bad luck out of his system. And passing 120 cars yesterday, I think he deserves to be back in the top five. So I'm going to start with Ryan Blaney at my number five spot. That was one that I was going back and forth with and struggling on. Uh, so I'm going to start with Ryan Blaney. Number four, um, this one's another one, but I'm going to put William Byron. I know he led. I know he led 200 something laps yesterday, but with only the one win, I think the guys that I got to put ahead of him are just having a better season so far. Number three, I'm gonna have to put Kyle Larson. I had number last week. I had him at number two, but I'm gonna have to flop number two and three a little bit. Uh, so number two, I'm actually gonna have a new number one this week. Number two is gonna be Christopher Bell. I can't have you at number one if you make a top five on strategy and they show you getting passed by SVG. I just can't. I just can't do it.
That's a fair quarrel there. So number one, you got
So at number
SVG, right?
one, I got my guy Denny Hamlin with the back to back. Denny against the world. I got him at number one this week.
All right, Josh, what's your power rankings looking like?
All right. So at number five, I'm going to go with Chase Elliott. Found a way into a top 10 finish, fifth of the year. He's got two top fives. Kind of maybe finding something. We talked about maybe him being the fourth best driver at Hendricks, which is still makes him a top 8 driver in NASCAR. But I think he's starting to get right. Maybe find some confidence. Need to see him maybe pick up a stage win or two. That would help out. Number 4, I'm gonna go with. That's tough. I'm gonna go Kyle Larson. After yesterday's performance of causing an accident on purpose, and then also having an accident on lap 3, as much as I enjoyed it because it screwed over Colton, he has to fall to number 4 for me. Number 3, I'm not going to reward someone getting lucky, so I'm going to keep Denny Hamlin there. Number 2, William Byron probably should have won the race. I'm going to blame it on me falling asleep while I didn't. And then number 1, 3 wins, still on the year, back to back to back. Another top 5 finish, no matter how it gets done. Give me Christopher Bell.
All right. Me and Josh are aligned in thinking on that. I got Bubba Wallace at my number 5. Rough week. I tend to not try and overreact to one week and take him out of my top 5. So I'll leave Bubba at number 5. I will overreact to Ryan Blaney in his run today because he should have a win, and did win that race if not for a caution. So I put Ryan Blaney at my number 4 spot. And the other thing to think about with Blaney is he was going to win Phoenix probably. He had the fastest car there. He's had the fastest car at multiple tracks, and it just hasn't fallen his way. And if 2 engine explosions don't happen, Blaney very well could have 2 wins right now, and we could be talking about him as at the top of the power rankings and the fastest team in the garage, in my opinion. Because Homestead, bad fast car.
Boom.
So, and then poof. So yeah, give me Blaney at 12. He's just a couple blown engines away from having 2 wins, just like Hamlin. The 24 of William Byron, dominating performance. We all knew he wasn't going to break that record they kept on putting up there of being the first one to lead every single lap since Jeff Burton at New Hampshire, I think it was, back in 2000. We just knew because of green flag pit stops, and I knew he wasn't going to win because I picked him. So that was too good to be true. And so then you got him at number 3, though. He's still the points leader after all this time. He's hanging tough, got second place. I'll keep him in my number 3 spot. Denny Hamlin moves up to number 2 for me. And the only reason is Bell, my number 1, had 3 in a row. Hey, Hamlin wins next week. He's definitely on top because he's got 3 in a row.
And he very well can.
Out the window. He absolutely can. So he can definitely move up there. But for me, Bell, 2 top 5 finishes in the last 2 races, a second place and I believe a third place this week. So he's still got that top level speed. Well, he had some track position and some luck, like Bull said, but he still is finding ways to finish in the top 5. And now he's 3rd in the point standing. So I give him credit there.
One thing I think is interesting, Colton, is both of us added Blaney back into the top 5. Both of us with that same thinking of it's just been bad luck. He still had the fastest cars.
Yeah. I mean, I seriously believe that if he didn't blow an engine at Phoenix, he would have won that race. If he didn't blow an engine at Homestead, he would have won that race. So it's unfortunate. And if a caution doesn't come out today, he has 3 wins, or yesterday he has 3 wins. So that Penske championship, if they can just stop the engine explosions, could very well still be real. It very well could still happen. They get that, 4th in a row, but still a long, long way from that. Other than that, we're kind of ahead of schedule here. Is there anything we'd like to bring up before Bull gives his race winner pick for Bristol?
I can't think of anything this week. I know Bull wanted to insult me, so the floor is open, Bull.
So I think I've got it. I've insulted you about the text, but Josh, first pick, Brad Keselowski.
You know what? I'm going to take pick. I'm going to take pick 1 this week, and I'm going to make Ryan Priest pick 1, just to spite you, Bull.
There is 20 other people I can think of to take before Brad Keselowski. You even said he is dead.
Yeah, I learned my lesson. All right, he had one. He had one shot to prove it. He had one shot to prove it. He failed, which means he's going to win this week at Bristol.
What did you not learn the last 3 years?
Hey, he won last year at that track.
When did he win before that one?
Yeah, I don't know.
Long time ago.
Exactly.
You know what? Hey, you know what?
You said
people I literally told you I was making a mistake as it happened.
You and Ben set Colton up to have Byron and Larson back to back with the 3rd and 4th pick.
Yeah, and you know what? It worked out okay because last I checked, Colton's still in last place. I just gave the spot back, which was my mistake. And if I would have took the guy who I thought I would have took Larson, which wouldn't have done anything for me anyway. It would have been just as bad as having Brad.
They did. Larson and Brad did score the same amount of points, to be fair. Not probably not in like the other 99 million or infinite universes out there. I tried to do math. It's too late for that. So yeah, there's that. Josh, can't wait for that Priest number 1 overall pick.
I ain't doing that. I ain't that stupid.
If you pick Priest number 1, Josh, I know where you live. I will be at your house Saturday morning.
No, I promise you Priest will not be my number 1 overall pick. I already know who I'm taking if I decide number 1. But I think I prefer the 3-4 at this track when I'm looking at everything as I am right now, which would give Colton pick number 1 and whether he wants to take the chance again and go 3 in a row with Denny or.
Well, I know I sure as hell ain't taking Denny Hamlin. Anybody who has like good momentum, if I pick him.
So that means you should take pick 2 because you know He's gonna take.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a great point.
look at me already
That's
planning your head. But Bull, who you got this weekend?
Yes.
So hold on, I got my 3 drivers here for you.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So this has been kind of fun going through looking at this.
Mhm.
And one thing I've learned this week, either you are really good at this track or you are really bad.
Mhm.
There is no in between. So I got 3 guys that really stood out. Last week there was an Eric Jones that kind of stood out out of nowhere. There's nobody like that this week. So I don't think it'll be hard to figure out. The first one I got for you, and this one is crazy to me. So the first one is 35 starts, 4 wins, 12 top fives, 19 top tens, and an average finish of 13.3 in 35 starts.
that's got to be Denny, right?
I'm going Kyle Busch.
The next one is 17 starts, 2 wins, 7 top fives, 12 top tens,
Jesus.
and an average finish of 12th.
That's Larson.
Yeah.
And then the last one is 7 starts, 0 wins,
Mhm.
3 top fives, 5 top tens, and an average finish of 12.6.
7 races.
So one thing I did also figure out is having the Bristol dirt race did affect some of these guys' numbers.
Mhm.
7 races, so he'd be in year 3 or 4, or he'd be in year 4, maybe. Oh no, because the dirt it'd be year 5. Maybe
Was that counting the dirt, or did you take the dirt?
No, this
it doesn't count dirt.
This is not counting dirt.
Okay.
7 races. So we'll say at most that's 1, 2. We'll say who's about near 5 or 6.
Chase Briscoe?
It is not Briscoe.
Is it? What his name just is it Busher?
It's not Busher.
Oh, okay. Then who is it? What
He
are
does
the
have
answers?
the same initials.
Oh, Christopher Bell.
C.
Christopher
Bell.
Bell.
Okay.
So who are
C.
the other
Bell's
two?
got the 7 starts. Oh, well, wait. Hold on, Josh. You just want the answers. You're supposed to guess these.
We did already.
Okay. I said Kyle Busch for the first one.
So Josh did get the first one right with Denny. And then you all both got the second one right with Larson.
Yeah, the second one just was too obvious. That one was like that, man. But I'll tell you what, man, that Christopher Bell pick. Yeah, I think I'm okay with pick 3 in this draft. I'll get one of those 3 guys, and then I'll get Ryan Preece.
I mean,
you ain't getting Ryan Preece if you don't pick him down there.
The Denny stat of 35 starts with an average finish of 13th, that is insane.
There's a reason why he'll go pick number 1. I think the Christopher Bell, though, is pretty damn impressive. You said 5 top 5s or 5 top 10s?
5 top 10s in 7 starts.
That's good. That is very
good.
good.
And that is also my pick for this week to win. I think he gets his first win at Bristol this week.
I might have to copy your strategy for Friday, Bull. I'm not gonna lie. Out of curiosity, did you see what Kyle Busch's stats are there?
I did. He actually has 8 wins, but he also has like 5 DNFs, and his average finish is like a 15th.
Okay. Yeah, I guess if you would have said the 8 wins, I would have known for sure it was Kyle. I didn't know he had 8. Good Lord, but I knew he had a lot. All right.
Yeah.
So Christopher Bell is your winner pick.
I think he gets the first one at Bristol.
Yeah, finally breaks through. I mean, that's what it kind of looked like. Or I guess no, Byron already had a win at Darlington, so I'm just talking out of my butt here. Yeah, so I guess that's all we got. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the show if we don't have anything more to add. Thank you all for listening. Be sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, tune back in on Friday to see what the Fast 5 looks like. And be sure to follow us on Twitter. For me, it's at LFC__99. For Josh, it's at JNorth1989. And for Bull, it's at Bull_81818. So be sure to go check us all out on Twitter. I have some strong worded opinions on there every once in a while. I had one about Steve Phelps's comments this week or last week. And, I'm sure I'll have some more this week as I'm on my break at work. So for now, we'll see you all in the next one. Peace.